Hello, I'm Satish Rai and I'm standing here with my team on the land of Maryada Purushottam Shri Bhagwan Shri Ramchandra Ji in Ayodhya, and today we start filming of an epic film called Lord Rama in Exile, an epic journey for survival of global girmityas. The discord which I mentioned, which resulted in the exile of 1.2 million young Indian men and women and children, has got a wider story. It started off about 500 to 600 years ago, when the very lucrative spice route between India and Europe was blocked by the invasion of Portugal, Spain and other places, which was the corridor through which spices and other goods were taken from India to the Europe. So in 1492 Columbus was sent to discover an alternative spice route to India. He set off from Europe, and he reached islands in West Indies, in the Caribbean, and he thought he had landed in India. He called the place West Indies, and he went from the island to the South Americas, and he saw a huge opportunity for the Europeans to settle in Americas, and thus began, genocide of the Native Americans. Millions of people were killed, and when they needed labor, they transported the enslaved Africans, and they were transported to Americas in millions, and for nearly 300 years until 1830s they provided almost free slave labor to the plantations of Europeans, British, French, Dutch, Spaniards. But when the slavery was abolished in 1830s, the former slaves did not want to work in the plantation, and so they left, and there was a vacuum in labor. There was a huge labor shortage in those islands, and by the time British were ruling India, and they had been ruling India through first East Indian Company and then themselves from 1857, and when the British first came to India, India was stated to be the richest country in the world. The share of the global GDP was about 33%, and by the time British left India, the percentage of the global GDP in terms of India was reduced to around 3%. So you can imagine the poverty, the havoc that was caused in this 100-200 years in India, especially around this area, because UP, Bihar and Bengal were part of the Bengal presidency, and this is where the British first entered. And coupled with that, the heavy taxes which the British imposed, and coupled with that is destruction of the native industry, and added to that is the famine. There was a lot of death, millions of people died. At the same time, a lot of young men and women, they had to leave the villages in search of employment. Internally, they were going for work, employment internally. That's when the British and other colonies pounced on them and in a way enslaved them though they had the garb of indentured labor agreements or contracts. It was virtual slavery. So this discord which the British imposed through Britain in India is much larger discourse. We saw the transportation, the exile, the banishment of the Girmityas as compared to family discord of Lord Ram in Ayodhya. So as we progress, I'm going to tell a bit more about this discord and other aspects of the exile of Lord Ram, the Girmityas, and my own exile. अब हम आपसे जानना चाहते हैं, ये जो फिल्म बना रहे हैं उसको हम जोड़ रहे हैं यहीं से लगभग 150 साल पहले बहुत सारे यूपी और बिहार के लोगों बच्चों को यंग मैन एंड वुमेन को उठाकर ब्रिटिश ने बहुत सारे कॉलोनीज़ में ले गए थे। उसके बारे में आपको कुछ पता हो तो बताइए।
जी, जहाँ तक मुझे जानकारी है, ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी हुआ करती थी तब उन्होंने वो बहुत से लोगों को, ख़ास तौर से नॉर्थ इंडिया को पूरब की तरफ से भारत के पूर्वी राज्यों से ले गए थे मज़दूरों के रूप में। और जो ज़्यादातर जहाँ जहाँ ब्रिटिशर्स का राज था हर जगह ले गए थे और वहाँ उन्होंने जाके मेहनत की और उन राज्यों को नया आकार दिया। और आज की तारीख में उन लोगों ने वहाँ पे उनके जो बच्चे हैं, जो उनके संतान हैं, जो उनके वंशज हैं, वो आज बड़ी बड़ी पोस्टों पे हैं, बहुत बड़े बिजनेसमैन हैं और उन लोगों ने वहाँ पे अपना प्रभुत्व दिखाया है। अपनी मेहनत से आज ऊंचाइयों पे पहुँचे हैं जिनके पूर्वज यहाँ से मजदूरी के लिए गए थे।
अच्छा, आपने ब्रिटिश राज के बारे में, ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी के बारे में बात किया है। पढ़ने में आया है कि उनके आने से पहले भारत एक बहुत ही रिच देश था। कहने को है कि लगभग 33% जीडीपी दुनिया का भारत में ही था और जब ब्रिटिश छोड़ के गए हैं तो लगभग 3% हो गया था। तो इसका मेल रखता है कि यहाँ से गिरमिटियों को ले गया, उसके बारे में आप कुछ बताइए।
देखिए, उनका राज था, उनको मजदूरों की ज़रूरत थी। यहाँ के लोग मेहनत मशक्क़त करना जानते थे, अपने मालिकों के प्रति लॉयल थे, उनका एक चरित्र था, इसलिए उनको ले गए थे।
और गन्ना भी होता था, ज़्यादातर गन्ने के खेतों में काम करने के लिए ले जाया गया था।
गन्ना भी यहाँ का जो है बहुत बड़ा जो है खेती का साधन है, तो गन्ना वहाँ भी होता था। तो उनके बारे में इनको सारी जानकारियाँ भी थी और टेक्निकली एक्सपर्ट थे, तो इसलिए भी इनको ले गए।
हाँ, और उसका जो यहाँ पे ब्रिटिश प्रेजेंस, जो टैक्स के कारण बहुत लोग बेरोज़गार भी हो गए थे, तो इजी पिकिंग था कि लोगों को उठा कर ले जा सकते थे।
देखिए, एक तरह से देखा जाए तो उनका पूरा तरह से साम्राज्य था, कोई विरोध करने की स्थिति में नहीं था। देश टुकड़े टुकड़े में था, कोई एक रूल नहीं था यहाँ पे, जिसका फ़ायदा ब्रिटिशर्स ने हमेशा उठाया।
अच्छा, ये जो गिरमिट प्रथा 1917 में लगभग फ्रीज हो गया था और जितना बाकी गिरमिट था वो 1920 में ख़त्म हो गया था और उसके बाद 100 साल तक सभी गिरमिटियों को भूल गए। अभी उनके वंशज, जिसे हमें बहुत सारे 12 मिलियन हो गए हैं, वो यहाँ पर अपने पूर्वजों को खोजने के लिए कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो उनको अब क्या कहेंगे उनसे?
मैं एक बात कहना चाहता हूँ, जिन लोगों को वो ले गए उनके जो परिवार बचा, उन्होंने उनके बारे में कभी कोई जानकारी नहीं रखी। ना उनके जाने के बाद, ना ब्रिटिशर्स के जाने के बाद भारत से उन्होंने भारत सरकार से अनुरोध किया भी कि हमारे 70 साल, 80 साल, 100 साल, 150 साल पहले जो हमारे पूर्वज यहाँ से गए थे उनकी कोई खोज खबर ली जाए। वो भी उनको एक तरह से भूल गए, जो एक दुर्भाग्य है। अब वो लोग वहाँ से आ रहे हैं अपने धरती को खोजते, अपने रूट को खोजने, अपने मातृभूमि को खोजने, तो ये तो बहुत ही अच्छा है, इसका मैं स्वागत करता हूँ। और उनको पता भी चलना चाहिए कि उनका जो है मेन तो भारतीय है, तब कहीं है।
हाँ, जो यहाँ से गए थे बच्चे वो भारतीय थे, वहाँ पर रहे और बूढ़े होकर मर गए, फिर भी वो भारतीय थे। तो अब भारतीय उनके बच्चे भारत से जुड़ना चाहते हैं, तो आप की तरफ से अगर इनविटेशन उनको मिल जाए तो अच्छा होगा।
बहुत ही स्वागत है उनका आने का। मैं जो भी मदद करना चाहूँगा, चाहेंगे, मैं जिस तरह से समर्थ हूँ मैं ज़रूर करना चाहूँगा उनको।
राजा जी, अपने टीम के तरफ से, हमारे सभी दर्शक के तरफ से, और जो 12 मिलियन डिसेंडेंट्स ऑफ गिरमिटियस है उनके तरफ से आपको प्रणाम और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
मुझे लगता है कि जो गिरमिटियों की कहानी है वो बहुत मार्मिक है, तकलीफ़ भरी, क्योंकि उनको आधी हकीकत और आधे फसाने के बीच में रखा गया, उनको सच नहीं बताया गया। और जो भी औपनिवेशिक काल में, खास करके ब्रिटिश रूलर्स के समय में भेजे गए, तो उनको ये कह के ले जाया गया कि हम आपसे मजदूरी कराने, आपको रोजगार देने के लिए ले जा रहे हैं। लेकिन वो 7 समुंदर पार ले गए और इतनी दूर गए कि उनका आना संभव नहीं हुआ, लौटना संभव नहीं हुआ। तो एक तरीके से उनको मजबूरी वश उन क्षेत्रों में, उन धरतियों पे रुकना पड़ा जिसके लिए वो तैयार नहीं थे। आज के समय में लोग बाहर नौकरी करने जाते हैं तो उनको ये पता होता है कि कभी भी अपने वतन लौट सकते हैं, अपने शहर लौट सकते हैं, लेकिन उनको अंधेरे में रखा गया। तो एक तरीके से जहाँ तक मैं समझता हूँ, गिरमिटिया लोगों के साथ धोखा किया गया, और उस धोखे की वजह से इनको अपनी जड़ों से कटना पड़ा, अपनी धरती से कटना पड़ा। हो सकता है ये एक रिसर्च का मामला है कि उनको अगर ये बताया जाता कि हम आपको ले तो जा रहे हैं काम के लिए, लेकिन शायद आप अपने जीवन में या अपनी संततियों के साथ, अपने सिबलिंग्स के साथ कभी लौट ना पाएँ, तो शायद उसमें से अधिकांश लोग जाने से इनकार कर देते और नहीं जाते। लेकिन वो गए और उनके हाथ में कुछ नहीं था, सिर्फ रामचरितमानस थी, हनुमान चालीसा थी, राम दरबार की तस्वीरें थी, हनुमान जी की प्रेरणा थी, गीता थी, और उसी के बहाने वो रुके रहे। एक तरीके का गांधीयन अप्रोच था मेहनत करने का, कम में संभाल लेने का। और जो जहाँ तक मैंने देखा है, मॉरिशस गया हूँ और फिजी वगैरह की जो कहानी है, मुझे लगता है कि उनका एक दर्द है अपनी जड़ों से कट जाने का, अपनी वंश परंपरा से कट जाने का, जिसकी नुमाइंदगी, जिसका रिप्रेजेंटेशन अभी नई पीढ़ी में दिखता है कि बड़े से बड़े समृद्ध लोग जो भारतवंशी हैं, जिन्हें हम भारतवंशी कहते हैं, इंडियन डायस्पोरा के लोग हैं, वो आते हैं तो उनका सबसे बड़ा प्रश्न, उनका सबसे बड़ा संघर्ष, स्ट्रगल ही इस बात का होता है कि उनकी आइडेंटिटी क्या है, उनके फोरफादर्स कहाँ से थे, उनकी मातृभूमि क्या है।
अच्छा, आपने भगवान राम जी के बारे में बोला। ये फिल्म है, एक 2 स्टोरीज है, एक भगवान राम जी का एग्जाइल के बारे में, एक गिरमिटियों का एग्जाइल के बारे में। आप कैसे देख रहे हैं कि कैसे मिलता है दोनों का एग्जाइल?
मुझे लगता है कि राम जी का एग्जाइल जो है वो सेल्फ ओरिएंटेड है, पिता से दिया हुआ और खुद से मांगा हुआ। गिरमिटियों का एग्जाइल तो उनको बिना बताए दे दिया गया, उनको मालूम ही नहीं था कि उन्हें उस एग्जाइल में जाना है। तो राम जी का संघर्ष जहाँ एक नैतिकता के लिए है, वहाँ गिरमिटियों का एग्जाइल उनकी नासमझी में किया गया, उनके साथ एक तकलीफ भरा आंदोलन है जिसमें उनका अपना परिवार, उनके अपनी वंश परंपरा उनसे छूट जाती है। तो
लेकिन यहाँ सही है, बिल्कुल सही है। राम जी का जो स्टोरी, लेकिन उनके लिए एक सर्वाइवल बन गया था
जी,
कि हमारे भगवान, वो
आइडेंटिटी है। हाँ। वो दोनों, वो उसके साथ उनकी कैथारसिस होती है। वो कहीं से आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं कि जैसे भगवान राम 14 साल का एग्जाइल कर सकते हैं और खुशी खुशी कर सकते हैं, और सारे संघर्षों के बाद उसमें बच निकलते हैं, तो वैसे हमारा एग्जाइल भी किसी काम का है, महत्व का है। उस स्ट्रगल से हम सर्वाइव कर गए हैं और हमने अपने को उस लायक बनाया है, उस परंपरा में, भारत की परंपरा में।
राम जी आए थे, यहाँ दिवाली हुआ। फिजी से मेरा रिसर्च कहता है 25,000 लौटे हैं, कोई दिवाली नहीं हुआ। उनका आज पता नहीं है, राम जी को अभी तक हम याद करते हैं, उनको कोई नहीं याद करता है। उसके ऊपर
मुझे लगता है कि कुछ अनसंग हीरोज़ होते हैं जो समाज में और समय में ऐसे ही डूब जाते हैं। ये हमारे देश का दुर्भाग्य है, हमारा दुर्भाग्य है, हम भारतवासियों का दुर्भाग्य है कि हमने अपने भारतवंशी भाई बहनों के साथ ठीक से व्यवहार नहीं किया, उन्हें गले नहीं लगाया और उनके लौटने पर दिवाली जैसा ही जलसा नहीं मनाया।
और मैं कई गांव में गया हूँ जहाँ पर हम और हमारे साथियों ये खोज पाए हैं अपना रूट्स, और उनसे बात जब कर रहा हूँ उनके आंखों में आंसू होते हैं कि ये मिलने की संभावना, तो वो सभी कुछ उनको याद है। और इस एरिया से लगभग मेरा अनुसार 32 और 40 मिलियन ऐसे लोग हैं जो गिरमिट से जुड़े हैं। उनके दिल में एक आशा है कि कभी ना कभी कहीं ना कहीं उनके पूर्वज आ जाए यहाँ पर।
वर्तमान जो भारतीय परिदृश्य है, जो डेमोक्रेटिक सेटअप है, जो पढ़ लिख गए हैं लोग, मुझे लगता है कि भारत में बहुत सकारात्मक, बहुत पॉजिटिव अप्रोच से अपने भारतवंशी भाई बहनों को देखा जाता है और हम बाहें पसारे खड़े हैं कि उन्हें आना चाहिए और यहाँ बसना चाहिए और अपनी मातृभूमि को वैसा ही अपना देश समझना चाहिए जैसे उन देशों में वो बसे हैं जो उनकी कर्मभूमि का देश है।
एक रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा, आप एक यंग सोफिस्टिकेटेड एजुकेटेड भारत नागरिक है, राजा जी के सुपुत्र हैं, अपने तरफ उन मिलियंस ऑफ जो आपके इंडियंस है डायस्पोरा में, उनसे 2 बात कर लीजिए और उनको इन्विटेशन दीजिए।
मुझे लगता है जो भी पूरे विश्व में फैले हुए भारतवंशी लोग हैं, इंडियन डायस्पोरा के लोग हैं, उनसे मेरी अपील है एक भारतीय के रूप में कि आप भी भारतीय हैं और आपकी मातृभूमि आपके पूर्वजों की मातृभूमि रही है, इसे अपना ही देश समझें और इसे वैसे ही स्वीकारें जैसे उन देशों में है जहां आप अपने जन्म से वहां मौजूद हैं और भारत आपकी प्रतीक्षा कर रहा है, आपके स्वागत में खड़ा है और आपके साथ आपके संघर्ष में आपका।
As we are talking about Lord Ram's Banwas, relating it to the Banwas of the Girmityas, Girmityas as well were taken from their birthplace where they were born, and they were taken to another river, a very important river, which is Hooghly River in Calcutta. But instead of being blessed by anybody, they were kept there for many months in a large depot, and as I said, instead of getting any blessings from anybody, they were subjected to the process of putting their thumbprint to a document which was written, the agreement which was written in English. They did not know where they were going. They stayed in the depot for months on until 400 or 500 of them were collected, and they were headed onto ships on Hooghly River, and they then embarked on a journey which they knew nothing of. From river Ganges and Jamuna, Ramji, Sitaji and Lakshmanji, they crossed and went to Chitrakoot, whereas our Girmityas, they were put on a ship on river Hooghly, and they went on an unknown journey to unknown destination towards their exile. As we are relating the story of the exile of Lord Ram to the exile of the global Girmityas, take this opportunity from Ram Ghat in Chitrakoot to talk about some of the similarities and differences between the two exiles. We have come to know that Lord Ram left with his brother and with his wife, and for a long time he was escorted by many of people of his kingdom, and he goes to Prayag, where he meets his guru, and from there he comes over here, where he was met by Nishad Muni, and later on Bharatji comes over here and to persuade him to go back to Ayodhya, which he does not, and he continues on his exile. The story of the exile of the Girmityas is similar, but in many ways starkly different from the exile or the beginning of the exile of Lord Rama. They were picked up, the Girmityas were picked up away from their homes. They did not say goodbye to their parents. They were collected, a few of them, 10, 15, or individually at small depots in the area, and they were then transported by train to Calcutta, where they were put in a depot, and they stayed there for many months before they were transported to the colonies. The research tells us that some of the relatives, when they got to know about their children being taken to Calcutta, they did go to Calcutta, just like Bharatji came over here, and they tried to take their children, their brothers, their sisters, their wives, their husbands back to their villages, but in majority of the cases they were not successful. So like Bharatji, they returned to their home disappointed. Most of the time there's people who did manage to travel many hundreds and thousands of kilometers to Calcutta from the interior, from UP, from Bihar, from Kerala, from Tamil Nadu, from Andhra Pradesh to Madras. They did not get to see their relatives. There were guards at the depots who would beat them away, and they would leave disappointed. And here they were looked after. Lord Ram, Lakshmanji and Sitaji were looked after by Nishad Muni and others, but in the depots of Calcutta and Madras, they were not looked after by anybody close to them. They were guarded by the guards of the East Indian Company. I don't know how they were fed, and they were forced to put their thumb prints on the agreements, which were they didn't know, which were written in English. So the conditions of their confinements during the first initial stages of exile were pretty different, and there were many similarities. The struggles later, after Lord Ram leaves Chitrakoot, and that of the Girmityas after they leave Calcutta, there are many similarities, and as we proceed further down towards the south, we are going to talk more about the similarities and differences between the exile of the Girmityas and the exile of Lord Rama. Yes, we are relating the exile of Lord Ram to the exile of the 1.2 million Girmityas. And as I have already stated, this is where the problem for the main characters of Exile of Lord Ram started, especially for the women. Supneka, she got her nose cut for whatever reason, and Sita ji was kidnapped over here, and she was exiled in Sri Lanka. Also, that is a sad story, and we follow that as we go along. Also, the women of the Girmityas, they also have a very, very sad story. From outside, only 30% of the total Girmityas were women. So for every 3 men, there was 1 woman. And you can imagine what they would have had to endure when they finally reached the ship, a 3 months voyage, first 5 years of Girmit, 10 years of Girmit, and then for most of them, the whole life Girmit, exile in the colonies. And within 1 generation, the ratio became 1 to 1. So there were a lot of children being born. 10 to 15 children had to be born by every Girmitya woman. On top of that, they were working on the farm whole day, and they would come back home, cook food, and then get back up again early in the morning. And on top of that, they would have had to wait off advances from all those men who obviously were young, and they had their sexual needs. So it was the women who had to endure all those attention. Some wanted, many probably unwanted. There would have been rape or pressure, or she would have to endure or provide favors to multiple men. That would lead to disharmony in the coolie lanes. That disharmony would result in mental trauma, would result in suicides, would result into even murders. So those were the troubles. One can compare the troubles which started for the for Lord Ram, Sita ji, and Lakshmana over here. But at the same time, you have to now put in perspective the problem, especially of the women, the Girmitya women in the colonies, be it in Mauritius, South Africa, East Africa, West Indies, Fiji, or Green Island, wherever. So as we go along, we'll be relating further stories of how Lord Ram and Lakshmana rescued Sita, and I'll also tell you the stories of Girmityas in exile.
ah
Now, what had happened on the Girmit ship is people of all castes from India, people from north, south, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Rajasthan were put on one ship, some 400 to 500 of them, and they were traveling 3 to 4 months to reach the colonies. And something very important happened there. During the voyage, the caste division was overcome. During that voyage, the regional division was overcome. During the voyage, the linguistic divisions were overcome. And a friendship between these girmityas, what is called as Jahaji Bhai, ship mate Jahaji Bhai and Jahaji Bahan, was struck. And that has helped the girmityas during their very trying period in the colonies. And that Jahaji Bhai concept is still alive today. And it's my belief that the Jahaji Bhai friendship would be there as long as the stories of the girmityas are alive in this world. As I've said, Jatayu's sacrifice, his battle to save Sita Mata, will be remembered forever. And as we are telling the story of the exile of the 1.2 million girmityas, their sacrifices, their battles are no less inferior than the battle of Jatayu, and the battles fought on behalf of Lord Ram by Hanuman, Sugriva, and the battle fought by Lakshmana and Lord Ram. I would like to share one story with you that will illustrate the sacrifice made by the girmityas, and that story relates to a girmitya, a woman in Fiji. Her name is Kunti. Kunti was a young, pretty woman, and she became victim of a white supervisor or columber, his lust. The story goes that a lot of white supervisors, overseers on the plantations in the Girmit colonies, Fiji and all over the world, they took advantage of the women. Most of the women were young children, and same thing happened to Kunti. But Kunti did not give in. The white supervisor, the columber, was held by one of their own Indian Sardar who brought Kunti to the white supervisor. Kunti fought back, freed herself, and she jumped into a river. But she did not drown. The story was related in an article by Pandit Tota Ram Sanadhyay, which was sent to India, and it was published widely in the newspapers. That was in early 20th century, and the story was read by Srimati Sarojini Naidu, who took up this case along with case of Narayani and many other Girmitya women, and thus began the struggle for the abolition of Girmit. Kunti herself returned to India in 1914. The same year, Pandit Tota Ram Sanadhyay returned to India. Both joined the anti-Girmit abolition movement along with Sarojini Devi, Annie Besant, Malviyaji, Gokhaleji, and in 1915 they were joined by Gandhi. So, as I relate the story of Jatayu, I felt that I should also relate the story of Kunti and thousands of women who battled against the atrocities of the Girmit, the Indian indenture system, along with thousands of Girmitya men, and eventually the Girmit was abolished in 1917, and in 1920 all the Girmityas around the world were freed. Ramji and Lakshman, Hanumanji, and the whole army crossed over, went to Sri Lanka, battled with Ravana. This war, they won the war. They rescued Sita Mata. They would have come across over here, and they then returned a long journey of about 2,500 kilometers way back to Ayodhya, and on reaching Ayodhya after 14 years there was celebration of Diwali, and that happened many thousands of years ago, and we still celebrate Diwali. We still remember this epic, the grandest of grand narratives ever. All along the travels from Ayodhya, I've narrated the story of Lord Ram's exile, with which also I have narrated the story of the 1.2 young Indian men and women, the Girmityas, who were recruited, transported, and exploited by the British and other Europeans in colonies many thousands of kilometers away. In 1917, with the help of people like Totaram Sanadhyay, a Girmitya from Fiji, and Kunti, a very brave Girmitya from Fiji, Sarojini Naidu, Annie Besant, Gokhleji, Malviyaji, Banarsi Das Chaturvediji, and in 1915 Gandhiji also joined the struggle, and that became the first national struggle of India. And on 20th February 1917, Girmit was legally abolished, and in 1920 all the remaining Girmityas had their agreement, their Girmit cancelled. As I sit over here and look across over there, Ram Setu, the bridge built by Hanuman and his army, is no longer there. It is broken, it is underwater, and various explanations have been given, but the bridge is no longer there. And for me, as a person who has been researching on the Indian indenture system, the Girmit Pratha system, for some 25 years, I have come to know the bridge between India, the place where young Indian men and women and children were taken, has been broken. The breaking started in around 1920, when some of the Girmityas were returned to India as per their contract, but the large majority of the Girmityas were not provided that opportunity to return to India. My research in my doctoral thesis demonstrates that in case of Fiji, that was actually true. They were kept there in order to provide cheap and continuing labor to the colonial sugar refining company of Australia, which were brought to Fiji by the colonial government of Fiji. Had all the Girmityas returned to Fiji, Fiji's industry would have collapsed, Fiji would have collapsed. So they kept them over there. Much has been said about the end of indenture, and some people more than others have been given credit for the struggle to end the indenture. That was a great thing. That abhorrent Girmit Pratha had to come to an end. But that battle was not totally won, in my view. By keeping most of the Girmityas back in Fiji, the colonial administration, along with the CSR company, had won the war. They managed to keep their plantations, their industries, the colonial Fiji alive. And unfortunately, India forgot to do anything. They did not do anything to bring back those Indians who were exiled in Fiji and perhaps in all other colonial Girmit countries. And since then, in 1920s, For 100 years, the bridge between India and their children, the girmityas in Fiji, was broken. Nobody, or hardly anybody from India, cared about them. Some of us, a few years ago, decided that that is not acceptable. We began building the bridge. 1 or 2 stones have been laid, but the Ram Setu between India and the girmityas needs to be built again. You probably already know, more than 40 years ago, I had first read Ramayana, and at that time I had conjured up images of Ayodhya, Prayagraj, Chitrakoot, Nasik, Hampi, Lepakshi, and now Rameswaram. I stand here with the Indian Ocean on my left, with the Bay of Bengal on my right, with Sri Lanka behind me, and the whole of India in front of me. I must say the images which I had conjured up turn out to be much more grander, much more bigger, and much more revealing and informative. I'm glad, I'm very, very, very glad that I made this trip along with my team, Pranish Rai, Pramod Rai and Anjula Pritam. It was a hard journey of 14 days. All along the way, we thought about the 14 years Lord Ram, Lakshman and Sita traveled about 2,500 kilometers on their feet. The 11.5 years they spent in Chitrakoot, then they came to Panchvati where their problem started, and they endured 3.5 years of pain and sorrow. They triumphed in Sri Lanka, rescued Sita Mata and returned to Ayodhya. I hope one day my ancestors, their children and children of 1.2 million girmityas would be able to construct a bridge between where they are living now and their Matrabhumi, India. And that day I will be as happy as I am today.